Tenrecs. I had never heard of them until I decided to delve into animal illustrations. If someone had shown me pictures of tenrecs, I would have simply labeled them as some sort of rats or hedgehogs. So I'm not sure if this study is going to be useful for design purposes, but maybe I will learn a couple of things interesting about these animals. As I explored various types of mammals, the Tenrec family caught my attention. Since Tenrecs are endemic to Madagascar, it is likely why they were unfamiliar to me. Despite their small size, these mammals bear a resemblance to shrews or hedgehogs, even though they aren't closely related to any of these animals. What makes some of these species intriguing is their ability to echolocate, a trait more commonly associated with birds or reptiles, but rarely observed in land mammals. The majority of species in this family are omnivorous, and they're also nocturnal with poor eyesight. Notably, their whiskers are highly sensitive. People living on islands near Madagascar eat tenrec meat, and it turns out these species aren't protected, even if some of them are endangered. They call the forest their home, so keeping those areas safe and sound would be good for them. Now, there are 31 species in the Tenrec family, and I've picked 3 to doodle in my illustrations. And they're from totally different genera. The first one is common Tenrec, also known as the tailless Tenrec. Even though people call it tailless, it's got a tiny tail hiding somewhere. It is the largest animal in its family. You can spot these tenrecs chilling in the understory of tropical forests or strolling around in open forests. But they're also hanging out in arid shrublands, savannas, arable lands, pastures, crop plantations, private gardens, and even in some urban landscapes. They're feeding on invertebrates, frogs, reptiles, mice, and other tiny mammals. But they're not just carnivores. Fruits and leaves and other greens make it into their menu. When they feel threatened, their spiky hairs stand at attention, and they are not shy about screaming and biting. The second one is called lowland streaked tenrec. This little creature has a whole different vibe. While the other two I could easily label as hedgehog or a mouse, this one looks interesting. It's so out there that it is basically an inspiration, can be a potential muse for some creature concept. Imagine using its color and spiky spine shape in a design project. That would be a fun challenge for anyone who is interested in design or world building. So the first thing that came to my mind was it would be cool to play around with the scale and make it as big as some kind of a mount for humans, because they have these spikes and interesting color. Maybe just adding some kind of armor, they would be very cool war mounts for some cultures. The spiky things are called quills, and they're not just for show. It is thought that they use these quills for communication by creating high-frequency sounds when they vibrate. Now, that is not your typical mammal moo. It's more like an insect or snake thing, and humans can't even hear it because it's on such a high frequency. It's like their own secret language. So maybe if I create some war mounts with these qualities, then maybe it would be a war strategy to make the mount use its special communication skill and call other warriors. I think I'm not going to sketch a war mount just now, but I will just keep this idea as an inspiration for later on. These tenrecs call the tropical lowland rainforests in the northern and eastern parts of Madagascar home. You can catch them on land, splashing around in shallow waters, or getting their dig on underground. They are smart about nesting, tucking their homes beneath leaves close to a water source. Their go-to snack is earthworms, and they're good diggers to catch these worms. But these lowland streaked tenrecs are facing some challenges. People are hunting them for food, and deforestation is putting their natural habitat at risk. Zoological drawings, like these ones, can be a goldmine of inspiration for any world building project. My illustrations are not scientific zoological drawings, but my aim is to build up my visual library and then find out inspiration points like these, and also having a lot of drawings to use later on for different projects. And I feel like if I can look at diverse species, maybe later I will be able to create diverse worlds. Zoological drawings showcase the incredible diversity of life on Earth, from the vibrant colors of tropical birds to the peculiar shapes of deep sea creatures. Each species brings its own unique characteristics. Think about incorporating these elements into your world building. Imagine a planet with floating luminescent beings, or a forest inhabited by creatures with breathtaking colors. I believe it will help me to understand adaptations and evolution of species. I can explore the concept of adaptation and evolution through zoological drawings. Animals have developed extraordinary features to survive in their environments. We can all take inspiration from these adaptations to create futuristic or fantastical beings in our worlds. Maybe our characters have evolved to harness the power of their surroundings in unexpected ways. I think doing these type of little illustrations can help me understand ecosystem dynamics. Animal drawings often depict the intricate relationships within ecosystems. Considering how different species interact with one another and their environment, we can use this to shape the social structures and dynamics of the societies in our world. Perhaps there is a symbiotic relationship between two species, or maybe a predator-prey dynamic that plays a crucial role in our narrative. We can also look at behavioral traits of animals. Animals exhibit a wide range of behaviors, from intricate mating rituals to complex hunting strategies. That is why I'm taking these notes on these behavioral traits, and maybe in the future I will be able to use these to add depth to anything that I design. We can maybe imagine a fantasy society with customs inspired by the courtship dances of exotic birds, or warriors who adopt the stealthy tactics of predator species. Some animals can have intriguing anatomy just like this one, and I can delve into the fascinating anatomy of different species. Actually, anatomy is not something I am really good at, but I can combine and modify features to create entirely new beings. If I can get better at picturing a creature with the wings of a bat, the body of a lion, and the tail of a scorpion, these are going to help me get better in design, and maybe someday I will have a whole new set of species to populate a world. The last one I choose to draw is called lesser hedgehog tenrec. It lives in subtropical or tropical dry forests, shrublands, and dry savanna of Madagascar. This particular tenrec inhabits terrestrial environments, spending its daylight hours taking refuge beneath a log, a stack of branches, leaves, straws, or within a hollow tree. Although trees are not abundantly available in its natural surroundings, it adapts to various resting spots. During warm weather, it sleeps with its body stretched out, adopting a curled position for rest otherwise. In winter, it enters a state of torpor. Primarily consuming insects, it may occasionally hunt small vertebrates. Typically, these tenrecs forage alone, with the exception of a mother accompanied by her offspring. Another interesting thing is that these species are very popular as exotic pets. So if we look at my studies of tenrecs and what I learned from them, they may not be that fascinating with their design, but this was the first time I drew any type of small mammal, so I started to learn about their anatomy, and in the future I think I will get better at drawing these types of animals. So my method was, as you can see, making a rough sketch and then trying to refine the sketch on a second run on those, but I did not have a very detailed sketch, so I moved into painting it and tried to get the colors right and the texture right. I was not really good at fur texture. I used a lot of Photoshop brushes to find the right way to do it, and somewhat I managed to get close enough, but I think I was a bit bored with the whole fur painting and I may have rushed it a little. More detail would have been better. And even learning about these animals was a gain. Maybe I will not create a new creature based on these, but maybe I will just use them as they are. Maybe there is a village somewhere, and the people are Tenrec hunters because the nearby forest is full of them. And also lowland streak Tenrec was interesting enough. The quills and colors, that kind of design could go well with a large animal. Like I said before, maybe some people are using them as mounts when they go to war because it looks savage with all the spiky things. Echolocating was another thing I did not know about, but it is definitely another source of inspiration. I only knew about bats and didn't think on it at all. I think about echolocating sentient species, for example. Would they use less words? These are all things to explore. So I am documenting my journey of learning, and I will be looking back, and maybe then I will use some of these inspirations or come up with new interesting ideas, and maybe people will come up with their ideas and comment on these videos. That is why I will share my process and we will see. So that is all for this study, and I'm hoping to make more.